Yes, good morning and welcome to Know Your Right, our legal program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria, and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Diocesan Media Center, 29 Marina, Lagos. It's the 19th day of May, 2023, and I am Anosike Chimeze, welcoming you to today's edition. And yes, today we'll be looking at intellectual property. Today we'll be looking at the part one of intellectual property, and we'll be focusing on trademark. And to do justice to this, we'll have Barrister Olaide. Barrister Olaide Oluwayomi is here. Barrister, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, when you hear about intellectual property, how does it sound to you? What does that mean? So it's very, very deep. So we are going to dissect it for a period of 3 or 4 weeks. We'll be looking at it one after the other. Today we are concentrating on trademark, like I said. Give us an idea of what intellectual property is.
Thank you very much. Intellectual property generally is the creations of the mind, such as inventions, literary artworks, designs, symbols, names, images used in commerce. But I would like to just take us back to tell us that intellectual property actually is designed by God. Without it, we can't actually have all we have right now. So we inherited that from God, and everybody has that somehow within them. So I would like to also proceed that intellectual property is a very powerful tool in any society. It is for sustainable development of any society. It is an enabler, which means it helps to create jobs, it helps to grow enterprises, develop economies, and also social vibrancy. So wherever you go, you see, you feel, you touch, and you say intellectual property without you even knowing. But actually, they are intellectual properties. Now, they are divided, and I thank you for letting them know that it is a series, because intellectual property is very deep. So we have to break it up for people to understand. There's no need to rush over it, even though we have to still rush over it. Intellectual property is divided into four major categories. We have the trademarks, or what you know as service mark, but majorly in Nigeria we know it as trademark. And we have patents, we have designs, we have copyrights as well. And this doesn't mean that there are no other intellectual property rights. There are. You have, trade dress and, utility models and all that. But I will just touch on as we move. Intellectual property, let us start with trademark as you have introduced it today. Trademark is recognized in Nigeria under the Trademarks Act T13 LFN 2004. And the process of trademarking is very simple. First of all, you conduct your search from the trademark office. Then after the search, you have to apply. When you apply, you pay a prescribed fee. When you apply, then you get an acknowledgement. Shortly after that, they can send you either acceptance letter or refusal. And this is always to the factor, or it can be traced to the factor of how distinct your mark is. Now, when you file, you have to consider, okay, under what classification. So trademark has classification, and it runs from class 1 to class 45, 1 to 34 for goods, and 35 to 45 for services. And this particular classification we use in Nigeria is called NICE International Trademark Classification, 9th edition of 1988. Now, when you pay for the application, and once you've gotten your acceptance letter, you will proceed to make publication in the trademark journals. And this is quarterly. Now, there is a window period of 90 days. 60 days basically is for the member of the public or any interested party to file opposition. So you file an opposition notice that you are not going to allow that to happen because it's conflicting with your trademark or trademark of your client. So at the end of the day, there is another 30 days for the trademark office to transport or to transmit or to send that notification to whomever the legal representative of the applicant is. And you also are to respond within some specific period of time. Without me boring you with all that step, I realize that the member of the public of this confusion that once they are registered with the COPAC, then they will ask, what is the essence? After all, I'm standing legally right. Everything is okay with me and all. No, it is not okay. It is not okay because your intellectual property is like you having a blank check whereby any amount can be written on it. Your intellectual property can be sold for 1 billion USD and it can even sell more. So why don't you just protect your legal right over your intellectual property? So I will always say that what registration with CAC, that is Corporate Affairs Commission, does for you is that it gives your business that legal stand of a natural person. According to Section 43, Subsection 1 of Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. So you can be sued, your company can be sued, you can sue, you can buy properties, you can also, you have that succession plan. It lives on. Anyway, it depends on the members of the public, of the company though. So back to intellectual property and the correlation between CAC and trademark office. There is a particular law that is bringing them together. There is a particular provision in law, under CAMA, that is bringing them together, and that is Section 852, Subsection 1, whereby it's telling us that any mark that they could trace to trademark office and they could find the name there, they would not register it under CAC or under the Companies and Allied Matters Act. And while this has not really happened, we hope that it will happen soon so that it will stop, because people are very fast to go register name. They will see name, they will quickly go register it. But it shouldn't be like that. So by the time this particular law comes into operation, then they will restrict that conflict between the trademark office, everybody going back and forth on, my trademark has been infringed, my trade name has been infringed upon. Now, I talked about classifications, and what that classification does is it helps us to relate with the goods and the services under that class. So, for instance, you want to register beauty products. You still want to register the same name under beauty, under and all that. There are different classes for that.
Okay.
Now, how would you know whether your name, the name you want to register, is good enough to go? There is something called categorization of trademark or trade names. The first one is generic. The generic mark is not good at all. And this, we always come in conflict with clients, not particularly conflict, but when you tell them that this name is not good enough, they will tell you, oh, go register it. It's the name, I got it. By the time you get to search for the name, you realize that the name has been registered. Then you have to go back to the client and say, this name has been registered before. Let us get a new name. They will ask you, does it matter? Yes, it matters, because at the end of the day, even if they are giving you conditional pass, that means they give you approval conditionally. There's a stage that there will be an opposition. that's when it goes into publication. So you want to avoid anything that will make you, just start going through a process that that at the end of the day they will throw the name out. At that time, a lot of money will have gone down into that. So you just want to make sure that your client is sailing on that seamless ride. So let me give you an instance of that generic. Let's say, okay, I'm in Lagoon radio station. Let's just say, so a radio station comes up and say radio station. It is highly generic. That will not fly.
Okay.
Another one is descriptive. Descriptive has, it has this business with the name. So there are one or more characteristics of that product that is showing in that name. So, for instance, you can say, I can say Olaide t-shirt, Olaide pillows. Maybe I'm into throw pillows and all that. It's descriptive that is only what I want to be doing. Even I cannot even register the name maybe somewhere else as another thing. But I can also still register. It does not have anything to do with the name at all. Now, we have another one that is suggestive marks. And those are the marks that implies, it will imply what the good and service is made for. Another one is fanciful marks. The marks is so fanciful to the extent that it can actually pass, and it has nothing to do with the service or the goods. Well, I can give an example of that. Mercedes-Benz, for instance, the logo is fanciful. Mm-hmm. It has these three. Yeah, it's very fanciful. At times you will see it on a black background, and the silver, the gold, the choice of color. It implies, that it's strong, it's durable, it's elegant. Another one is arbitrary marks, and these are the names, the logos that is different from anything else at all, anything in existence. For instance, you will see that of Apple. What's the meaning of Apple being beaten on one side and you reflecting it as something that has to do with technology and has so much wave in the world right now? If you don't hold an Apple phone, I think they might actually even think that you're a broke person. So Apple beating on one side and it's representing a brand as strong as that is something to really consider. There is no correlation between the beaten Apple and the service and the goods they are selling to the world.
Okay, now talking about trademark, you've said all this. What does it protect?
It protects your business get up, so to say. Because trademark has to do with your name. And, it's very easy to mistaken it with trade dress.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I say get up, it will be your name, your logo. The trade dress is more of what identifies the features of the product of the company, the package, the elements, the decor items, and similar concepts. So you want to, while trademark is more of the name and the logo, trade dress is more of what you can see, what you can identify with. So, for instance, there was a time I went to the market. I wanted to buy seedling cubes. And I said, give me no. The trader gave me a packet that looks like no, but it wasn't no. So I bought it regardless. I bought it and I did not say a word. So I went to another place to ask, give me no. Then they gave me no. Now, what I did was I enveloped the product, the one looking like no, and I sent it to the company. Whether they get it, whether you did not get it, I don't know. But I know that I now later went for market survey to see whether that product is in the market, and I realized that it wasn't. So maybe they acted on it. Now, that is the difference between, because you with no, you recognize this green, yellow, red, and exactly the same 2 cubes in a package. That was what that had too. That particular one, that was what it had to. So I had to just do that. It's the duty of their lawyer to actually watch out. But since I saw it, I couldn't just take my eyes off it. So that is the difference between trademark and trade dress. Trademark protects your name, your logo, and similar things like that. Your style, the style of you writing it and drawing it and all that, like your logo right here.
Yes, I was about coming to that. Like this, our logo now. We have the Diocese of Lagos, Lagoon Radio. So does someone can come? Another diocese can come with diocese and maybe this same logo, and try to maybe the Lagoon. They may remove one O, something like that. So we
Or Lagos, something like that.
So
yes.
Can we act on that?
Absolutely yes.
Okay.
Absolutely yes, because it's confusing. If you ask me, you remove one O and you're calling it Lagoon Radio. It still sounds the same. When we get there, I don't want to jump into the part that I found very interesting when it comes to trademark. But those are the things that one should actually look out for, because it has to be, Section 9 and 10 of Trademark Act, talks about similarity to the extent that a reasonable man would get confused. So if a reasonable man would see it and would, there are some times that we do autocorrect in our brains. I do that a lot. I do autocorrect in my brain so that if I see something, I just quickly, okay, this meant to be like this. Okay, I just read through and I understand what the person is saying.
Okay. We are due for a break. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be answering our first question. Somebody is asking the difference between trademark and copyright, but that will be when we come back from this break. You're still listening to our legal program, Know Your Right, on Lagoon Radio. Don't forget to download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, and on Twitter and Instagram, Lagoonradio.Ng. You can keep your calls coming and your questions rolling in at 08189 Lagoon. 08189524666. That's the number to call. We'll be right back after this break. Yes, you're welcome back, and you're still on to Know Your Right, our legal program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Diocesan Media Center 29 Marina, Lagos. Don't forget you can download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. Follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, Twitter and Instagram, Lagoonradio.Ng. You can watch us live, LagoonTV. And also you can make your contributions on the program 08189 Lagoon. That's 08189524666. Yes, Barrister, Sheung is asking, good morning, let me get the message. He said, good morning, Lagoon Radio. Please, I'm enjoying the program. Thank you, Barrister, for doing justice to this. Please, what's the difference between copyright and trademark?
Thank you very much, Sheung. Thank you for listening. Trademark, like I said, is about your business. It's about your business get up, your name, your brand, your logo. While copyright has to do with the literary, anything that has to do with literature, with lyrics, music, paintings, all those ones are copyright.
Oh.
Yes. So there is clear difference between copyright, and this is me speaking to you in a very, very layman's language so that we will all be on the same page and understand. That's the difference. It has either.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Miriam is also asking. He said, "Good morning, Barrister and Lagoon Radio. Please, how do I trademark my product?"
Okay. First of all, you have to get yourself a lawyer and who is very knowledgeable in trademarking, and you get your name, your business name or product name. Then, we have to ascertain the product, whether body cream, whether biros, stationaries, whether furnitures, whatever. Let your lawyer know, then submit the name, the logo, and every other thing to him or her. Then I've already run through the process of registration, which is conduct search, apply. Upon application, it's either acceptance or refusal, depending on how distinct your mark is. Then you do you await for either opposition or for it to scale through. After that, you are due for registration. You just have like maybe few months, 3 to 6 months thereafter for registration.
Okay, we'll have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is
Okay, Jennifer from Owerri. Okay, good morning and welcome to the program. What's your question?
Okay, my question is, I want to know if there is any difference between the CAC registration and meeting. Okay, whereby if I register my business on that meeting, can that out or must it be registered under CAC? Now, secondly, as a small business operator, what are my risks if I do not register my business with CAC? That's what I want to ask.
The barrister got the second question, but rephrase the first question.
I asked, what is the difference between CAC and Maiden?
Okay.
That's SMEAN.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is that
yes, the CAC and Miden.
Small and medium price development agent?
Okay. Thank you for that. Barrister will do justice to that. Thank you for calling anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah. She's asking the difference between CAC and those small and medium enterprise registration.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ma. The difference between CAC and small and medium business registry is different and it's still the same. First of all, CAC, there's no business in Nigeria that will not register with CAC. I haven't seen. So you can either register as a sole proprietorship, partnership. You can register as company limited by guarantee or limited. Share. By guarantee, and also as a share limited liability too. You can also register with CAC as a non-for-profit. So that's just it. Registration with CAC is cogent. It's the foundation of any other business in Nigeria. Even if it's sachet water that you want to sell, you have to register with CAC.
Okay, CAC is just the
Is the foundation of any business. So every other thing builds on it.
CAC.
Yes,
okay.
please.
The second question, you say, what's the risk of
If you don't register with CAC,
as a small and medium enterprise?
you don't want government to run after you.
Oh,
Yes. So it's regulatory issue. It's illegal for you to run your business in Nigeria without registration, because that means you want to you don't want to pay your tax. I don't know, because those are the things that comes to mind. If you're running business in Nigeria, you just have to register with CAC. Any other thing you want to do, when it comes to the regulatory side of your business, you have checked that.
okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, moving on. Looking at this trademark now, am I the one to design the trademark, or when I'm registered, I'm being given?
No.
Okay.
What you are being given is approval to carry on with your trade name, your logo, and all that. You would go and do your design with your graphic design and all that. It depends on how you want it to look. If you want it simple, if you want it very complex, if you want it, whatever design you want, you are the one to get your name, to get your logo, to get your color, to, however you want it, because those are also registrable.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Another person asked, "Good morning, Lagoon Radio. Please, do I need a lawyer to carry on the trademark, or should I do it myself?"
You if you try to do it yourself, I won't say you can't. After all, you can even register CAC yourself. It's open to the member of the public, but while you will need a lawyer is because there are technicalities to it.
Oh,
There are technicalities to it. It's not as simple and that's the reason why people don't understand. Why trademarking? I've registered with CAC. Why trademarking? After all, I registered my CAC registration myself. I applied for it myself and I got it. You can get it. In fact, all those denials that you have, if a lawyer should undo your registration with CAC, there are some times that the lawyer will tell you, "I'm convinced that this name is available. I'm convinced that we can go ahead with it. Let me write petition to CAC will overturn its decision." But because you don't have a lawyer, they will tell you, "Oh, the name is not available." Okay, you start running. "I'm looking for another name." No. So you need a lawyer. Really, you want to actually get a lawyer so that you won't have to pay heavily for a lawyer.
okay. She rephrased the question. She said, difference between CAC and SMIDAN, that Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. I thought you've clarified that.
We've clarified that. We've
Okay.
moved on.
Okay. Now, moving forward, under this trademark in Nigeria, and you mentioned something. If you don't want government to come after you, what's the real essence and what are the benefits of trademark?
Thank you very much. I stopped some minutes ago. I stopped at trade dressing, and what that does, I think I should conclude on that before I tell you the essence of trademark. What that does is it helps you to protect everything about your business or your product. For instance, I will use Listerine, this mouthwash, for just to create an example in our mind. We all know how that bottle looks like. Some have white cover, some has black cover. It depends. Then the bottle is a little bit flat. It has a particular structure. Now, why this does not have anything to do with the functionality of the product inside, it has given that product a secondary meaning. If you get to the market and you say you want to buy Listerine, nobody will give you maybe Oral-B's mouthwash, if there is any, or any other mouthwash at all. Then another thing is, it makes it obvious to the eyes. So when you are given something different, you can easily say no. Just like when I asked for no and somebody gave me something different, I did not say no. I collected it because I wanted to escalate it to the company. Meanwhile, I went ahead and I still bought no. Now, trademark, what it gives you is that exclusivity of you enjoying the right over your product, over your name, over your brand, over your logo. And that is found in Section 5, Subsection 1 of Trademarks Act. The proprietor of that mark enjoys the right over it. Now, for the first 7 years after the registration, you enjoy it. Then you can now renew. You can apply for renewal. So it is the work. When you ask me, do I necessarily need to get a lawyer? Yes, you will, because there is time for you to renew. You would forget, but your lawyer would renew for you. Your lawyer will remind you, oh, this mark will be expiring very soon. By next year, they'll be giving you timely notifications. So you want to need a lawyer to do that reminder for you, and also to help you to do your renewal.
Okay. Okay. Go on.
Okay. So the renewal thereafter is 14 years.
Oh.
Yes. So 7, 14. As you renew, you keep going.
Okay. For the first 7 years.
Yes.
Then second 14.
14 as you renew.
Oh.
So infringement. I would like to go to infringement. And what trademark infringement means is that unauthorized use of your mark or signs or your service mark, and that which creates deceptive similarity of the registered mark. Don't forget that you cannot sue, or you cannot say somebody has infringed your mark when you actually have not even registered it.
Okay. But
you still have that common law. There's still grant for common. You can still go to to apply for passing of your mark, of your logo, despite the fact that it's not even registered. Because probably you have created goodwill over the years, but I can't see any product that would have created goodwill over the years that would not think of registering under Trademark Act. So you want to exclude every other person from using your mark, and if there should be any unauthorized use of your mark, that is infringement. Because the court will have to think about it. For what use are you infringing the mark? Majorly is for commercial gains. It's for you to be able to get some money. You want to deceive the member of the public so that you can divert some. Since there's a goodwill, everybody knows Coca-Cola, for instance. You now went to do Coca-Cola, something like that. You understand? There was a long war between Coca-Cola and Pepsi that has been resolved now. But before it could be resolved, there was a war, so to say. So we want to make sure that we get our products or goods registered so as to exclude every other person from using it so that we can enjoy the benefit of what we have created. Yes.
Okay, we are, in fact, we are coming close to the end of the program. Now, what happens? We want to know quickly what happens if someone infringe on my trademark.
So, if someone should infringe on your trademark, what you need to prove, Section 5 provides for that though, the infringement and all that. But what do you really need to prove? Number one, you have to prove that the mark is so similar to create that likelihood of confusion in a reasonable man's mind, and that the court would also want to know is the plaintiff's infringed mark, the strength of the plaintiff's mark in the marketplace. They also want to know if it's, if it's within the same geographical area. They want to know the commercial value of the infringed mark, and well, the court will also want to know whether the defendant intentionally copied it so that so as to gain some commercial benefits from it. Now, if somebody should infringe your mark, well, some people will say, I can go to court myself. You can go to court yourself, yes, if you can defend yourself and you know the law. But you want to get a very good lawyer. And it's now under two pillars. It could be criminal. It could be civil.
Okay.
And you can also apply under common law. I told you that if your mark is not really registered but is well known in the market and all that, maybe in the process of registration, you can quickly go to the court and, get that sorted out. However, under civil right, you can apply for injunctive reliefs, and that is to, stop the infringer or restrain the infringer from infringing on your trademark. And also, you would, as a plaintiff, you want to also consider, these are things to consider. You want to consider the merit of your case. You want to consider if the suffering that you have suffered is irreplaceable, like the damage is so great. Then another one you want to also, the court would also want to consider is how the injunction will affect both the plaintiff and the defendant. And the most important is the interest of the public. So if they grant the injunction, how would the public react to it? So another thing you also kind of may benefit if you've actually registered your trademark is to claim damages.
Okay.
As compensation for the losses. You can claim as much as 1 trillion USD.
Oh.
That's why I said it's an open check.
Okay.
You can write anything on it. So far you have goodwill and you can prove all these things that I've said earlier. Another one is an atopilla injunction, whereby there will be an expected application defendants to be able to access the premises where the infringement is being carried on. Another one is account for profits, to recoup the profits that the infringer has, gained over the years period of time. Then we have the criminal aspect of it. You can sue, and that will be under counterfeiting. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it could be threat to life and also to the business. If somebody should counterfeit a particular product and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 persons die, you want to see that as because they will lay claims. Somebody took. I would like to remind us Babina, how Babina went down. It wasn't as if somebody counterfeited. It was just internal control issue at that time. If people are very familiar with that story, I don't want to go into details. But imagine that another company had that problem. Like, okay, but why Babina was there? another company did something similar to Babina, was actually counterfeiting, and some people took it. It's still the fate of Babina then is what will still happen to them. So you want to make sure that your trademark is not infringed. You want to make sure by making sure that you register your business.
Okay, in 30 seconds, what would be your advice to anyone listening to us this morning?
My advice to the member of the public is that you should try, as much as you've registered your company with CAC, that's Corporate Affairs Commission, please register your mark as necessary with the trademark office. Get a lawyer. Getting a lawyer will not cause you any injury. Have a lawyer beside you, just like you have a medical doctor, just like you will have your imam or your pastor. Have a lawyer beside you who will stand with you.
Okay, get a lawyer. And that's how we'll be ending the program this morning. We most sincerely thank you, Barrister Olaide, for coming on the show.
Thank you so very much.
Of course, I forgot to mention that she is our legal and compliance manager at Oakwood Group. The show continues again next week with another topic. It's a series, and we are going to do it. I hope you learned a lot today. And thanks to everyone that tuned in, and thanks to our caller, Genevieve, all the way from Owerri. From me, Anosi Kechimeze, and from our producer, Sandra Nje, is goodbye, and do have a lovely weekend. We are out.